Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever?
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game of Fiasco, using the Camp Death playset. To learn how Fiasco is played, go to our website and check out our Fiasco Rules Primer. So our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
It's Ken Breese.
And our returning guest.
Hello, I'm Kelsey Hercs.
All right, welcome back, Kelsey. Previously on Fiasco, we have a grid. We have, between Ken's character and myself, a work relationship, a gas station attendant and customer, as well as an object, an embarrassing object, which is virginity. Everyone knows it. So between myself and Kelsey, we have a secret. Not who they appear to be. And an object, some information. Crazy Drunk's Incoherent Warning, which is TBD.
Yeah, both, kind of.
Yeah. Between Kelsey and Ken, we have a family relationship, identical twins, and the need to get even with the boy/girl who spurned your advances, or man/woman. And we have two tilts since the last act. Failure. You thought it was taken care of, but it wasn't. And paranoia. A sudden reversal of status/fortune/sympathy. All right, so Ken, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
Sure. Jasmine Jazz Willis is a 17-year-old punk rocker. She is also a camp counselor. She has a twin sister that she sort of has this love-hate relationship with. More love than hate.
What? Yeah.
But, I guess, yeah. It's not hate. No, there is no hate, really. I guess it's more of just
friendly rivalry.
Friendly rivalry, yeah.
I mean, she
maybe
does force you to listen to musical theater.
Yeah,
And
but
you're like way too old for that now.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Well, you're never too old for musical theater. Be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct answer.
Correct answer.
And so that being said, Jazz is a sort of a tough. She thinks that she's punk rock. I mean, she's sort of learning what that means, I guess, for herself. But what it means to her is that no one can control her. And so she sort of does what she wants and says what she wants and sort of is not super worried about the consequences. Though underneath it all, she does have a really big heart and does really love the kids that she works with and wants the best. And that's Jazz.
All right. And I am playing Zachariah Woalsh, a 28-year-old gas station attendant who lives near the camp and works down the road from the camp and used to be a child of a cult that was stationed on the camp before it was torn asunder, before the feds came in and broke up the happy family. So there was a sort of like god daddy weird cult. He was one of the children to one of the sister wives, and he was cast out just as they were going through their ritual to ascend away from the feds. And so the family has moved on without him. And now a camp is what is in its place, desecrating his land, his memories, or maybe, who knows? And that's his sad sob story.
And I'm playing Daisy Willis. I am playing Jazz's twin sister, and I'm very peppy and cutesy, kind of an overachiever, and maybe selling pot secretly. Hasn't come up yet.
That's around there.
It's around.
You are not who you appear to be.
I am not. You can still be a nice girl.
Of course. In fact, it helps.
Yes. I agree.
Previously on, we had everyone arrive at camp. We got some spooky news from, foreboding information of threats being sent to the camp by Andromeda, the camp owner and head counselor.
Andromeda wasn't sending them.
Oh, yes. She was the one giving the information to our characters. Yeah. She had been sent this letter. And then we also kind of got a shadowy figure using a severed hand to write one of these letters.
Yeah, in some cabin in the woods.
And then we got to see a body severed from its hand. Floating in the water.
The rest of the body.
Yeah.
A
severed body.
A severed body. We found that. Jazz and Daisy.
Yes, they did. And so we saw a flashback from Zachariah's past, sort of history of the camp, and the
twins tried
the
to...
young ladies tried to get back at Zachariah for rebuffing their advances. In
Jazz's
quotes.
advances. I want to make this very
Yeah.
clear. Jasmine was the only one advancing.
Sounds like Meg/Peg, who has disappeared.
I'm still waiting for her dead body
Yeah.
to show
Oh
up.
no!
Oh,
Oh
yes.
no!
Oh, yes.
She was,
Meg.
lest we forget, she was also in the car, kind of our bar.
And took a card from the guy. Took his gas station card,
He like
which should
he,
also
like,
come up.
put it through the
The
tiny
crack in the window.
crack in
Yeah.
the window. I think she was just trying to get him to go away.
That's where we're at. You guys tried to scare him. There's this weird thing, and you ran off away from him, and that's where we left it.
That's true.
To be fair, he was holding meat hooks.
That's true.
Right.
And you gave him a weird reaction.
Yeah.
All right, so Ken, you are kicking us off. Act 2, Scene 1.
Instead of me setting the scene, I'm going to ask my compatriots to set the scene for me.
You'll
Ooh.
determine
And then
what it
I will
is.
determine the outcome at the end, but instead of my compatriots determining the
Oh
outcome.
boy.
What is the scene that we are in?
I really think we should bring Meg back.
Cool. I'm for it. What if it's like Jazz is looking for, because it seems to get under Daisy's skin. Like
Mhm.
Jazz is like looking for someone to snog. Maybe she's got like a boyfriend, in
Yeah.
quotes or whatever. Like,
Yeah, one of the counselors.
right.
A first year counselor.
Right. So he's like 16 and a half or
Oh,
something. Yeah.
Yeah. He's too young for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love Bailey.
So it's like a little like midway through summer now.
Yeah, not quite the end.
Yeah.
Because I think there's always like fun stuff towards the end of a camp.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you want to sneak out and meet this guy. What's
Yeah.
the guy's name?
Bailey,
Bailey. But
So-
you don't want to go alone.
Yeah.
That's
you don't wanna
right.
neck alone.
You're like scared.
you have to come with me, and then he and I go into
Yeah,
a closet
But
or
does
whatever.
Daisy go with, or does Meg
Meg
get
go.
dragged along?
The three of us are roommates, so we all go.
All
Okay.
right.
And you won't admit it, but Jazz doesn't want to be alone in the woods.
That's 100% correct.
Yes, and Daisy is perfectly happy admitting that she doesn't want to be alone in the woods.
Right.
And she's certainly not going to be hanging out with Jazz and Bailey.
Yeah, well,
Right.
Bailey's probably bringing some of his buddies along as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of
And
a
also,
girl-guy meetup type
like,
deal.
You don't really like Bailey.
No.
Mostly you like that Daisy doesn't like Bailey.
Yeah, no, I like making out.
And also she likes making out.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
making out.
Yeah.
But I also like that my sister doesn't. It's weird.
Does not approve.
Does not approve.
Is he a similar likewise punk, or does he wish he was? Is he kind
Yeah,
of
it's
a
more
fake?
of a I think
Yeah.
it's more like that he's
like a hacky
interested.
sacker.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
hacky sacker.
God.
Oh God.
He's got one of those like
Why, Jazz?
nondescript wool hats.
Why?
Yes, he does.
Why?
Yes,
like
he
he's,
does.
He's hasn't washed his hair. 'cause
So the
he's
question
trying
then
to grow
becomes
dreads.
the question then becomes: is Daisy selling weed to this guy?
Maybe she has in the past.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
And maybe that's also why she doesn't want you talking too much with
yeah,
him.
yeah.
It'd be pretty impressive if I was able to hide this from you.
I think you have. I think you
That's-
have.
I'm
I think that
I am very impressive.
Yeah, you are impressive.
So
You are not who you appear to be.
Certainly not.
So you've tricked even your twin sister into believing that
Yeah.
you do not sell drugs.
So
Yeah.
what is the scene? Are we in media res where we're like on the rocks, just outside camp or whatever, like off the lake?
Yeah, let's say we're on the rocks, but you have to travel through the woods to get to where those are. So like there's a clearing that looks over the lake, but there are woods, like a little finger of woods through which we must cross.
Yeah. So we're already there. Are the boys or the boy already here?
No, it's
Okay.
just the three of
Still
us.
waiting.
Okay,
Okay.
so
No,
we're
it's just
still
the
waiting
three
for
of
them.
us
And
waiting.
so
That's
what
awesome.
does Jazz want from this scene, do you think?
What Jazz wants from this scene is to make out with this guy.
So he has to show
Get some
up.
summer
Some
love.
summer loving.
Happened so fast.
So you want me to play Meg/Peg?
I thought you hated musical theater.
I'm sorry, John.
I'll play Meg/Peg?
Yes.
Yes.
please.
Okay.
Meg Peg.
Meg
or
Peg.
Peg Meg, whichever. And I think that's a good way to put it. Daisy is sort of singing the Grease soundtrack.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is like, oh God, shut up. But I also
Meg.
sort of still like it a little bit too.
And Meg's doing the tell me more, tell me more.
I'm like, shut up,
Oh,
you
speaking
two.
of more, does anyone want more bug spray?
Oh God, Meg, that stuff smells like awful.
Ugh, no, but you know what? I was able to sneak a beer out of Andy's cooler.
Oh my God, Jazz, no.
Who wants to have some beer?
No way.
If they catch us with that,
What, this?
that was so loud.
This is how you get the boys, girls.
Jazz, I think that your logic is off.
Well, you haven't tasted amazing till you've tasted this Lablatz.
Ugh.
Let's start drinking it. Blah, blah.
It smells like that deer piss that Dad gets to keep the deer off of his roses.
Whatever. That's like super expensive stuff. This is, affordable, but classy.
More affordable than the deer piss.
I don't know. I don't go out buying deer piss.
Ugh.
Do you, Meg? You look like you might buy deer piss.
What are you talking about?
Jazz, what?
That's all. That she looks like she buys deer piss.
I don't know.
Jazz, are you drunk already?
There's bugs everywhere.
Yeah, when is this boy getting here?
He said we're meeting here at, what does your swatch say? It's like, I can't see mine very
10:30.
well. Yeah, like around now-ish.
Okay.
He said like 10:30, at the Rocks.
Well, here we are at the Rocks, and it's 10:30, and...
I know, these boys are late sometimes. But do you think that delivery guy is going to come back? Or do you think we scared him away?
God, I hope we scared him away.
That would be funny. But I guess it would be bad because then we wouldn't be getting any more supplies.
Yeah, we do need that ice cream.
Yeah, bad. I mean,
But, why did he need the meat hooks? Couldn't he have already brought it cut up?
What are you guys talking about?
Nothing.
Well, no, Meg. She's a big girl. We're talking about that guy
From the gas
from
station?
the gas station. Do you remember him?
The car creeper?
Car
Creeper.
creeper. What are you talking about?
He moved on us when we were in the car.
What do you mean? We weren't in the. Oh my
God.
Did he talk to you?
I told you he was a virgin.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, I thought you were just
being funny.
No, I wouldn't joke about that. I was telling you guys a fact.
How do you know?
Yeah, what did he say to you? Did he tell you he was a virgin?
Yeah.
Oh
Why
my
would someone
God.
just say that?
What a weirdo.
No, he's just
so
being
weird.
He's not like us. He's just being normal. You're not his kind of normal.
Whatever. That guy's a loser.
We
He's
spooked
okay.
him a little bit. He makes deliveries here, or made deliveries here.
I don't even know. I mean, I was wearing the devil mask. You know the one I scared you with last year?
What? Why did you bring that again? We're not
That-
stupid camp
That
goers.
devil's
We're adults
mask.
now.
That devil's mask is awesome. But I jumped out with it on, and he didn't even react. It's like he didn't even care. All he was looking at was Daisy.
He was probably.
But
car
that's because
creeping.
she was dressed up like me.
I had spooky makeup on.
Yeah. So he thought she was me, and that's why she was looking.
Jazz,
he was
don't
looking
make
at-
this weird.
I think that's why he was.
I don't
looking
think
at you.
anyone
Ugh.
honestly. I can tell you apart because you guys' hairs are different.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I mean, how does
duh.
anyone tell anyone apart?
Your hairs are different.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I can hardly tell half the people in movies apart unless their hair is different.
I'm guys, we got to get up so early tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with Meg on this one.
All right. Well, just let me
Meg, oh God.
Got
well,
some in
let's
my
just-
mouth. Can I? Give me some of that beer.
Oh yeah. Here, have some. See, Meg wants some.
Jazz, if we get caught,
Tastes better than bug spray.
Andy's relying on us.
Oh my God. Come on. This is what she was talking about. Getting out there and leading.
I
and,
really don't think this counts
having a
as
great
leading.
time.
Stealing a beer.
I mean,
What sort of leadership skills does it take to steal a beer?
it's leading me to
Leadership
making out
skills.
with somebody.
Oh, Jazz.
What did Andy say to you guys?
Oh, it's no big thing. Just that, she thinks that we're the future of the camp.
No, it
and
wasn't that. It wasn't that
because
serious.
the camp
it wasn't
is
that
gonna
serious.
get I don't know, attacked.
Hey,
we're just
Jazz.
She
Oh.
picked you two to
No, she didn't
be the
pick
leaders
us.
of the camp.
Yeah.
She didn't pick us for anything. We just had a little talk around the fire on the first night about, the future and how she hopes that we'll keep coming back.
I think this is a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds like the point. I'm gonna give myself a murder die.
All right.
Bad.
Oh
It'll
boy.
be bad.
Oh boy.
All right. What happens? How does this go bad?
Real bad. What happens is we're also giggling and talking and whatever, just sort of squawking. It gets to that point that we sort of hear in the distance the panicked shouting of teenage boys.
Okay.
More than that, we hear panic shouting and then sort of quietness, and we're not sure what's going on. Then we're sort of hearing maybe sounds of we're listening really hard, but it's sort of windy a little bit, and we're trying to listen. We're all super scared, and we're huddling together out of the clearing, or into the clearing rather. bursts a figure that we do recognize. It is one of the boys, the boy.
Uh-huh.
And it is
Oh.
Bailey.
Bailey.
It is Bailey. And he is running towards us, screaming, basically. Like, I think the screaming
Blubbering.
begins as he sees us. Like, he was silent.
Uh-huh.
And as he sees us, his eyes go wide and he lifts up his arms and both of his hands have been chopped off. And he just has bloody stumps as he's like going into shock and sort of like collapses in front of him.
Oh my God. Okay, well, Daisy's definitely screams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all scream.
Which again, I will spare the listeners' ears for my reenactment. And then she's like, okay, give me your jacket.
I am running away from
Okay,
this.
nope.
I'm running
Okay.
away, like, ah!
Okay,
Because I think as we look up from that corpse, we do see something else in the woods. It is more of
wait, is Bailey dead?
a spectral figure. I
Oh,
mean,
we
he's,
don't know.
He's bleeding to death.
He's bleeding. Yeah, we
Who
gotta stop the
knows? Who
bleeding.
knows? We see a spectral figure, I'm saying, in the
Okay,
woods
then I run.
behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
And you don't know what happens to Meg
Ne-
/ Peg.
Nope.
Yeah.
No idea.
Oh no.
No idea.
I
We all
thought
run.
she was right behind.
Yeah, we grab hands and we like run off,
Yeah.
basically.
The truck is arriving. It's actually like pretty early in the morning. Like the sun is just starting to rise. Call hasn't the wake up hasn't been sounded yet, and the pickup truck is pulling up.
Early morning delivery.
Early morning delivery,
Mhm.
and he's changed his patterns. He delivers at a different time now. He's getting out of the truck. He looks kind of at the trees where he was freaked out before, and Zachariah takes the meat hooks and like moves a big slab of beef. He's dragging it. It's like on a tarp, but he just has to like wrangle it
Muscle it.
over to the cook who's sitting there like already in his cups. He's got a half bottle. You don't know whether he started it the night before or just this morning. And actually, like as he's hauling this stuff over, Daisy is coming up to the commissary because she's got it's like a little time has passed.
Mhm.
Like she's kind of having occasional nightmares about what went on.
No kidding.
And-
Camp is still happening.
Yeah, camp is still happening. And Andy puts a stop to the rumors.
I mean that's sort of what it's basically like. Bailey got attacked by a bear.
Right.
It's sort of like
Uh-huh.
the story
Yeah.
is that he was mauled by
And
a
he will
bear.
Did
be-
she try to convince us of that too?
And he got to the hospital and they're watching his condition,
Yeah.
is what she told you.
Yes.
So she's really all in on. She's like trying to convince us of that too.
That it was
Mhm.
an accident. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're not buying it.
No, we are not.
So you,
Where is Meg?
not
Mhm.
great sleep. You're coming to the commissary to see like if you can get ginger ale or some crackers, just
Mhm.
something to like settle your stomach and like, because you're just not feeling, you're rocky.
Yeah.
Right? And you have a full day of camping to do and you don't want to do it feeling green.
Yeah, definitely.
And, as Zachariah is pulling this hunk of meat over into the like smaller fridge, like ice box, basically, he spies you across. There's sort of like a cutout
Mhm.
in the kitchen out into this main hall. And he sees you like coming up to this counter.
Do I see you?
Yeah. We
Okay.
kind of like spy each other at the same time. It's actually, and
So I'm about to ask
it's a
for.
mirror because he still has the
He
meat.
still has the meat hooks. I'm about to ask the cook for a ginger ale, and I open my mouth to speak, and then I see you, and I just freeze.
And I think that's when the cook says something to us.
Ginger beer in the morning, girl. I never understand why you like it so early. But hey, oh my gosh, I'll get it for you. You want a ginger beer too, Zachariah?
No, I'm fine.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got it, lady.
Yeah. Are you the young woman who was in the woods earlier? A good while back?
Well, we all go in the woods.
I'm sorry. This is very particular. You would know if you were, I guess. Were you the woman who, I guess you try to jump out and scare me?
Yeah, that was me. I think I would have been better if it hadn't been for the meat hooks. It kind of freaked me out. It was just a prank. We didn't want to hurt you or anything. We just wanted to give you a spook.
Yeah, these are just part of my job. And he puts them, he like just kind of hangs them off the side.
I'm just picturing him like being like, "Did you try to scare me?"
Right? It's
It's
so
like
funny.
meat hooks.
Yeah, he's just like
Funny.
scratching his head. Yeah, he hangs them kind of like on one of those metal shelf things. That's all
Mhm.
graded. I'm sorry. You spooked me pretty good.
I guess I didn't really. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't really think about how, I don't know, weird things happen here, and weird things had already happened, and I guess I just didn't really think about how serious things could be.
No, it's my fault. I spooked you guys first back at the station. It was part of, I don't know, it's just I do that to keep the kids from
Bothering you?
getting in my business. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of backfired in this instance, huh?
Yeah, you tell me. This is a weird question, but you're not Holden, are you? Because I need to get even, and
I'm sure I don't know what you mean. Holding what?
all right, sorry, my mistake.
Who told you? Was it Cook?
I don't understand half the words he says. No, Cook has his own substance issues.
Mm-hmm.
No, but if you are, I can pay cash. I need to even out, and I know every year there's one dealer. I've gotten good at spotting them.
I'm impressed.
I mean, you also dropped some out of your jeans. It was you or your sister when you guys were running from the station after you busted up my.
Oh God.
Which I just figured I'd take it in payment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was going to offer you some for free, but it sounds like you already got some.
Yeah. Well.
So yeah.
Here's the ginger beer, and you can leave the payments. We'll settle up next time. And he gives like this very trying to wink, but he just sort of closes both of his eyes.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Thank you.
And then he looks at you, and it's almost like something clicks for a second. And he says, Beware, Zachariah Woalsh. God daddy, there. He sort of toddles off.
Zachariah just watches him go. How's this going to go for Zachariah?
I think it goes really good for Zachariah.
So,
I like Zachariah.
Yeah, so what happens is they just kind of watch the cook go, and then...
Sorry, did you catch any of that?
No, listen, I got a spot. You want to go smoke now? And then kind of crossfade.
Oh, no, I won't be joining you.
All right.
I do not partake.
All right. So crossfade, and he's in the middle of the woods in his truck.
Smart businesswoman never buys her own goods.
Certainly not.
Right. And Zachariah
He's buffing.
is like fishbowl in his car, and
Oh boy.
he's found his inner peace. He's found his balance again. I'll say too, so as he pulls down the visor, the sun visor,
Nice, yeah.
and to get some
Matches.
and rolling papers,
Yeah, whatever.
right?
Mhm.
Some more stuff to roll another J. And then there's a picture, an old photograph of a woman in gingham, and it's like a little, it's torn out of a newspaper
Mm.
and pretty faded. It's kind of obscured by smoke, though. You don't see much of it. There you go.
Nice.
That's the scene.
Cool.
Oh,
We
I want to
choose it.
choose the outcome.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we'll set
Yeah.
the
And we can
scene.
set
You
the
guys shut
scene
it.
for you.
You guys said it.
Andromeda did a sweep of the cabins
Right,
because the camp is on high alert,
right.
Mm-hmm.
and she found Daisy Willis's
Stash.
It's Meg's.
Oh.
Who have we seen Meg? Is Meg around?
Yeah, wait, is she? Isn't she?
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
hard to find, but
So she's, she's circumspect.
Or if she's not here,
yeah.
all the easier.
I don't know.
In your bunk,
Okay, so
there are three in your bunk, and
Yeah.
specifically in the foot locker of Daisy. So this is like the interrogation scene.
Right, so it's Andy and Daisy in the
And-
scene.
And I think Andy out of hand, Meg is there, not speaking, but Andy
Mm-hmm.
out of hand just dismisses it and knows it must be one of you two.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so Meg's there. Got it. So it's the two of us and Andy. Okay, got
This is like a little later in camp time.
Sure.
Yeah,
What
it's
does
getting towards the end.
what would Daisy want in this scene? Because it's her or her sister that could be in trouble here.
And getting off the hook is not the two of us getting off the hook is
Sure.
not on the table.
That could be what you want. Yeah.
I want the two of us to get off the hook.
All right.
Yeah, that's what
Off
I
the
want.
hook. Off the meat hook.
Off the meat
meat
hooks. Just
hooks.
like we don't want to be on there.
Yeah, nobody wants to.
it. Nope.
She's dismissed one of the other counselors who found the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and she's holding it now, and she's like,
Who found it?
this guy Greg Sams.
Greg
Oh,
Sams.
Good to know.
Yep.
good old Greg Sams.
Fucking Greg.
Her right hand that's still attached. Andy starts with you, Jazz. Says, "You've got the look Are you maintaining the lifestyle completely?
That stuff is not mine, and it's definitely not my sister's. Someone's like setting us up.
Ladies.
Or pranking us or something. Are you sure that that's what you think it is?
Pretty dumb prank.
At the beginning of summer, I spoke with you both, and I said that I trusted you, and I wanted you to grow here. And this
And we take that very seriously, both of us.
says otherwise.
Well,
This is not the type of entrepreneurial leadership that I want at my camp.
it would say otherwise if it were ours, but it's not. It just isn't.
I seriously don't know where that came from. If it was mine, I would tell you, but it's not. I don't know what else to say.
Have you investigated Greg?
Or Meg.
Greg would tell me if he was getting into any of this kind of trouble. Greg and me have an understanding, and I was hoping that we would have an understanding too. In this, you have broken my trust. here.
I'm sorry for bringing Greg into it. I'm just trying to get to the bottom to this. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this just like you are, and I'm sorry. I'm confused and I don't understand why someone would want to do this, so I'm just throwing things out there.
Did you put this in your sister's locker, Jazz?
No.
So then, Daisy, it must be yours.
It's not mine.
It was in your foot locker?
Why would I keep it? If it were mine, why would I keep it someplace so obvious? You know I'm smarter than that.
What did you find it in? Like, what was it in? Was it in her monkey's lunchbox?
No.
Okay, well then it's not hers. If it's not in the monkey's lunchbox, I mean, that's where you keep all those
Jazz.
things. You're supposed to-
Weird pictures and stuff. It's not.
I don't know what's in that
It's
box.
not anyone's business.
Hey, I respect the monkey's lunchbox.
You need to come clean to me, or I will lean on someone weaker than you both. I will lean on Meg, or young Peggy here, and she will tell me what I need to know.
Look.
I mean, we tried to prank that Zachariah. Maybe he put it in here.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we were just having some fun. He's sort
You
of.
girls leave Zachariah Woalsh alone.
Yeah, we will
Zachariah
now.
Woalsh.
It ended up being kind of a lame surprise anyway.
Yeah.
He didn't get scared at all. He just got sad, which is kind of a bummer.
Depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
That's why I think it might be him.
So this is a decision point. I
Yep.
think.
You get to choose your
Murder.
fate.
I want something to go right for me for once.
Yay!
Because I've got nothing but murder and nothing but death and destruction. I'm taking the last white cube.
A lot
problem.
of dangerous things have been happening, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to trust that you are telling me the truth.
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
I need clear eyes in this camp. I don't need what happened to young Bailey Bodes to happen to someone else.
Oh my God.
What do you mean, walking into a bear?
I don't know if it's because the bears like the smell of illicit drugs. I don't know what Mr. Bodes was doing out that late in the evening.
Daisy's like looking really hard. Like, you still want us to believe this?
And
We found
Jazz is sort of like shrinking, like, I'm not going to tell you why he was out. Like,
we
ooh,
found
let's not
young
talk about
Maggie
that.
out there over his body, and she told me point blank that it was a bear.
I look at Meg.
Yeah, we both look at Meg.
like, what?
She goes back to journaling.
I feel like that's a good.
We won't speak of this again.
That's a perfect end. I love that. Just a scene ending on Meg, like looking up, like just for a second, and going.
Meg's the killer.
Probably. We got to do it, you guys. All right.
All right.
This scene is a flash forward. We're not sure where we are in the future, but we see Jazz and Daisy running in the woods, running away, just totally
we're jumping
freaked out.
time.
We're jumping.
Oh,
time.
yeah.
We're jumping time into the future. We're jumping right to the action. Daisy and Jazz are like running through the woods, and their hair's all messed up, like they've been running for a while, but they're still together. And Jazz looks over and he's like, "Is he still after us? Do you hear him?"
So we lie down and I put like leaves and stuff over us.
Yeah, I gather leaves too. And so we're gathering leaves all over ourselves. And as we're lying behind the rocks, sort of covered in leaves and brush, we start to hear the sounds of footsteps, but we can't see anything from the other side of the rocks. We're just standing there silent. And we're hearing the sound of like metal on a whetstone, like shink, 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 shink. like something being sharpened.
Is it on the rock that we're lying next to?
No. It's almost like a whetstone is held in one
separate
hand.
one, like a real one.
Yeah, like a real one. Yeah, like someone has two hands and they're using one hand to sharpen something with the whetstone. As we're just sort of sitting there or lying there, it's like the wind dies, everything's super silent and quiet and cold. It is a full moon night, but it's like the camera is just on us, like sort of like wide eye, or like we have our eyes shut probably. Like we're just like
Daisy grabs Jazz's hand and squeezes really tight.
And Jazz grabs a hand-sized rock, getting ready to defend herself if needs be. How does the scene go, John?
How does it go?
Yeah.
Why, it goes poorly.
It goes very poorly.
No.
All right, it goes poorly for us. So we're there, and we're hearing the footsteps, and they're getting closer and closer and closer, and then they stop, and we don't hear anything, and like a full minute goes by, and we're just like we're like going nuts, like we have no idea what's going on the other side of the pile of these rocks, and that's when we hear the words, "I've come home," and a really old man who is. He seems spectral. It's weird. He's an old man, but he seems spectral. He sort of comes around this like pile of rocks, and we see him.
Because he's in a white suit.
Exactly.
With white hair.
Exactly. He seems
White
spectral.
guy.
He seems spectral.
Very white guy.
Exactly. And he is holding a saber that has been snapped in two. He's holding the bottom half of it. I think that's where our scene's going to end.
Suit glows in the moonlight.
Yep. Yeah.
The same dream, the same flashes. It's almost like we're getting a snapshot, shortened version of what we saw in the longer flashback. And we cut to Zachariah like jolting up in bed, sweat pouring down his face, and being lit by a flickering source of light. And he starts coughing, and he looks around, and we realize that the gas station is on fire.
Fire!
Oh no!
And he runs to the door. It's chained shut.
Ooh.
Oh no!
And he runs to the back, and again there's something is barring the back door, and he takes a chair and tries to throw it through the window, but the glass is reinforced. And the flames.
You thought that was such a good idea
I know.
to reinforce that glass.
Well,
And you
it's,
got
know,
it.
You don't want a stray hunter's shot.
Don't want to
getting
let the
through.
cold in.
Don't want to let
Yeah.
someone steal your meat hooks.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
And,
regretting that decision now.
So and he looks back at the freezer.
Nice.
And looks at the flames that are like encroaching, and he starts coughing again as he like bolts into the open freezer and has to pull it shut behind him. How's it going to go for Zachariah?
Bad.
Do we like bad or do we like murder?
I want him to still be alive for more
Well,
stuff.
Okay.
It's a long time
Oh, yeah.
before he wakes up in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's a good couple days later,
Yeah.
and he's being driven back by a neighbor, and they drive past the gas station, which is just burned
It's
out.
Andromeda. It's Andromeda.
Yeah, it's Andy.
It's
Yeah,
Andy.
Andy
Andy's
drives it
driving
back.
it back.
I was gonna say
So it's
should
a
be Andy.
burned out husk of a building, and the freezer still stands.
Let's
and
bring him back some
door,
memories.
The door has been pulled off the hinges. It had melted shut effectively. Like they had to use the jaws to pry it open. When they finally realized someone might be in there. So he's hearing her off in the distance a little bit, like he's not registering what she's saying, as she explains that she'll let him stay at the camp, and they might be able to find some work for him. They need off-season workers, and of course during camp seasons things are busy. They'll rebuild the gas station. Everything should be fine. He'll be fine. She's like trying to steer them in. They finally pull up to the camp, and he goes to like open the door, and she says, "I'm sorry, I'll get that for you," and comes around and opens the door for him, and he steps out, and both of his hands are wrapped in gauze from where the frostbite required
Exactly.
them removing most of the flesh in his hands.
Yes.
Thankfully, like that's he's got like
He's got his
some,
nose?
He's got some like
Or-
bandages and some like
Bandages.
scab. His ears are pretty bad. Like they had to remove some bits of his
Yeah.
ears, but it's
True.
really his hands, and he stumbles a little bit. He lost a few toes as well.
Yep.
So
Ah.
as he stands there looking at the camp as like children run about.
I want to keep going with
With us.
the night flight.
The night flight.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So we
So
pick
we-
up right there
Yeah,
where
right
we
there,
see him
like
and
right
he sees
there.
us.
Did he speak before or after he saw us?
Before.
So who was he talking to? We are hiding, and we hear him say, "God, Daddy is back."
Yep. Uh-huh. Correct.
and we see the glint from his saber, and we hear, "God, Daddy, I've kept this place good for you. I hope that you like how I kept it." And it's Andy, and of course we want to like pop up and be like, "What the fuck is happening?" But we don't.
But we don't.
We don't.
We don't.
Because that is sure death. We've been chased out this far.
Goddaddy is talking to Andy.
Uh-huh.
I think he just sort of goes on and says,
Yeah, shall you be Goddaddy now?
I guess should I?
Yeah,
be?
I think
Me?
you should. I think you should be
I think it's a little
Goddaddy.
comedy
Yeah.
too, because you guys are like behind a like log.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
pile of
yeah,
rocks,
yeah.
and he like kind of plunks the saber down like right
Right next
to
to
us,
us.
yeah.
So, like jabs it in and takes a seat.
Yeah, he's like right.
And he says to Andy.
Andy, yeah.
He says, "It's taken me a long time to get back to this place, but the fortune I have amassed will rebuild what we have lost. But we need to get rid of those campers."
I've been sharpening my hatchets.
I caught a boy in the woods. He was a wicked boy.
They're all wicked here.
Well, lead on and let us begin to cleanse this place. Don't worry. Zachariah, he's taken care of. The outcast.
He will not come back to taint our place.
Yeah, and Andy also kind of adds in, already I am grooming new sister wives for you.
Yes. Yes, I have a few candidates. They are intelligent the way you like them.
Very good. We'll need strong souls to move heaven and earth.
Yeah, they show strong leadership qualities. I think that's where you should decide what happens.
Yeah,
Yep.
what happens?
Because that's like a cue to either go eep or
Yeah.
Yeah,
something.
yeah, wow.
So
That can be good or bad, and also someone's gonna die.
yeah.
Someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
So Jazz and Daisy look at each other. Jazz has been holding a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy's gonna pick up a rock too.
And they sort of nod at each other.
And they nod at each other.
All right.
And Goddaddy is sitting on the rock, like right in front of us.
Uh-huh.
Daisy counts down 3 with her fingers silently.
Mhm.
3, 2, 1.
And we both go into action as we
Yep.
I just
Yep.
jump up
and
and
smash him
exactly
in the head.
smash him in the head.
Yeah.
We like 2 rocks come down
Yep.
basically on the back of his skull.
Like immediately. Yes.
And I think Goddaddy dies.
Goddaddy
He just
dies.
like you kind of from your POV, he like slumps forward, and Andy's like aghast.
Yeah, holding hatchets.
Yeah.
And I grab the saber.
Yeah,
and we
you
run.
do. Yep, we run. We run.
We run.
All right. So that is death.
Death.
That is Goddaddy's death.
Woo,
All right.
We did it.
We did it.
Or well, he was hit with rocks.
He
Who
was hit
knows?
with rocks.
He was hit with rocks.
True enough. He was hit with rocks.
Oh, yes, perhaps what you thought was taken care of.
Oh, no.
Wasn't.
So now we're going to consult those tables
That's
in a
right. We
second.
need to roll again.
So we're going to
With
roll all
no
our
red
not
die.
the red die.
Oh, not the red die.
Yeah. All right. So Ken, why don't you start off?
I will. Black 4, negative 4 is savage. Savage, this is my aftermath now. What happens to Jazz? Savage as in something is broken or mashed. Maybe you've got a permanent limp or a bad reputation. Plus, you totally fail. So that will inform the scenes that we now do, or I do, during our montage.
So
Okay.
I have a 3 white high. Grim. The stress and trauma from your little adventure are going to haunt you forever. Bits of your soul are destroyed and you are missing a piece or two. In a few years, children are going to cry when you get too close. All your plans have ended in complete ruin.
I shouldn't be laughing at that.
Amazing.
But I totally am.
I have a white 2, merciless. You might not be dead on the outside, but you sure as hell are dead on the inside. The emotional or mental wounds you have suffered will never heal. The future is a brick wall.
My first scene, unfortunately, is going to be right back where we were, as Andy expertly hurls one of her hatchets.
Whoops. Spoke too soon.
And I throw myself in front of my sister as the hatchet cuts into like my arm, basically. It doesn't take my arm off, but I'm bleeding just profusely from my arm that sort of is dead at my side as we're like rushing and running away. And that's my first scene.
Your leather jacket is
My leather
slick with
jacket!
blood.
My leather jacket's slick with blood.
Zachariah, he wakes up in, again, another one of those dreams. And he wakes up in and knocks his head on a bunk because he's on the lower bunk of a bunk bed. And as he kind of shakes his head and pulls himself to the side, he reaches for a glass of water and knocks it over with his bandaged hand. And he hears, "Your inner filth has started to manifest, hasn't it, Zachariah?" And he looks up at the figure of, but this is prior to your
Oh, okay.
all right, the pristine white suited
Still pristine.
God Daddy Woalsh. The God Daddy says, "I should have finished you with my hand. I should have struck you down instead of letting you go out in the world. You are my unfinished business, boy." And brings his saber up.
We're back. We're back. You fall
Yes.
when the axe hits you.
Yes.
I go down with you because
Yeah.
I'm scared and
Yeah.
you're bleeding and stuff. Lucky for me that I go down because Hatchet just whips right
Yeah,
over my head and thunk right into the tree behind me. And I look back at Andy and I grab the hatchet and I run towards her screaming.
Ah!
Unfortunately, she's much stronger than
She
me,
is a
so
large-
she
she's
is
a
able
strong lady.
to overpower me. I get maybe one good hit in, but she's able to get the hatchet back.
Seeing my sister throw herself at our attacker, God Daddy Woalsh, we can't see his form anymore. He fell down behind some rocks. Andy has come after us with a vengeance. She has one of her hatchets back, but the other one is right near me where it fell into the ground after it cut me. And so I grab that hatchet, and seeing my sister about to be hatcheted, I sink the hatchet into the back of Andy as it just goes right into her back. And I say, "Get away from her!" I sink it right into her back. And she lets you go, is in this sort of blood rage.
We're close on a bloody face of Zachariah. And eyes open.
Eyes open.
And a bandaged face wipes some blood away. And he gets up. You see there's a deep cut in his head. And fresh blood pours down his face.
You're sabered in the
yeah,
head.
Yeah.
And he
Head wounds bleed a lot.
stumbles to the front door and sees the glimpse of a white suit entering the woods.
Yeah.
And he looks back at his bag, sees the glint of meat hooks.
Meat
Meat
hooks!
hugs!
and he realizes he's in the crafting cabin. Duct tape.
Duct tape! Yes! It's all coming together.
As my sister, I see her hit Andy in the back with the hatchet, and Andy screams, and Jazz kind of backs up a little bit, and I take this opportunity to take back the hatchet that Andy took from me and just hack at her until I am sure that there is no way that she's still alive. There's blood splattering on her face.
Yeah.
Going a little too far.
Yeah.
Yep. To the point where maybe Jazz has to pull her off.
Yeah,
come on, we
exactly.
gotta go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly where we pick up. Is that you and I stumble out of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You're just covered in blood. I'm bleeding from the arm. My left arm is dead at my side.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the one who's sort of holding you up as we're sort of
Yep.
we're stumbling. Well, I guess we're sort of holding each other up.
Classic Willis sisters.
Yeah, exactly. Classic Willis sister behavior.
Yeah.
And we sort of stumble out of the woods, see that there is a large bonfire where our fellow counselors and our campers are singing and roasting marshmallows and hanging out and just having a great time. It's like the last night of camp. It's
Amazing.
There's some, canoodling on the sides. It's fun times, wholesome fun.
Yep.
As we sort of stumble out of the
fun.
woods covered in blood.
And can one of us say, "It's done"?
Yeah, yeah. It's finally
It's
done.
finally done.
The campfire is raging. Kids are around. Guitars have been put away for right now.
Yeah.
People are gorged on s'mores and hot dogs.
Yes.
And one of the counselors, Greg Sams.
Greg Sams.
is
Love that
saying-
guy.
Yeah, Greg Sams. That's right.
He's telling a tale. He says, "And they looked on the car door, and they saw." And as he says his final phrase, out of the woods stumbles you two girls.
Us too. Yeah, of course. All right. I thought there was gonna be somebody
And
else.
everyone
for a second.
goes, like that, and he doesn't even recognize. He doesn't see you.
He's
guys.
like, oh, I got him good.
Yeah,
now.
you're like right. You're
We're
right behind him.
We're like stumbling.
And he goes, "A hook!"
Help us.
And everyone freaks out and starts running away from you.
Yeah.
Like, the monsters. And Greg's like,
Yeah,
best
I still
response
got
I ever
it.
got.
I still got it.
Then opposite the side, from the other side of the clearing, stumbles again, head caked in blood, glistening meat hooks duct taped to his stumps.
hands.
Is Zachariah saying, "Where's God, Daddy?"
I'm here to kill God, Daddy.
And everyone just
Scattered.
screams and loses their mind, and
Yeah.
it's chaos and a half.
And so the kids all scatter. They go to the sheds and whatever. Greg turns around and sees us and also screams and runs away.
He wets himself.
He wets himself. We finally did it.
Finally did it. Achievement unlocked.
We both seem kind of actually relieved in a weird way to see Zachariah.
Yeah, I agree to that.
A little
Definitely, yeah.
confused about why he's still holding his hooks. And as we're sort of like hobbling towards him, you see behind us, out of the forest, comes God Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Still in his white suit, but now it is splattered in blood from the front from when he sabered Zachariah. And now there's also blood dripping down his shoulders. It looks like he has been dipped from the head in blood. And he is stumbling out.
And the way that the blood is going over his like gleaming white suit.
It's like a candle.
Yeah,
It's like a candle.
Yeah,
It's very
exactly,
beautiful. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But scary as
Spooky.
shit. Yeah.
And he was able to pick his saber back up from where I dropped it once I was hit with a hatchet.
Yeah.
So he's got the saber in hand.
And he says, You girls think that you can take advantage of God, Daddy? I was here to show you paradise, and I'll show you paradise another way.
Nice. So my aftermath is that I totally fail. So I think my aftermath of Savage, I don't think that it's going to be right after our scene. This is in the future. Like, this is my ultimate future here. Jazz's Savage future is that her arm doesn't work anymore. That like her left arm is dead. Not many people in the 70s and 80s want to hang out with a one-armed gal. So she doesn't find a lot of.
So punk rock, though.
Yeah, I know it is pretty punk rock.
But it rocks her self-esteem.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
So
that's
she
more
becomes like kind of a shut-in.
Exactly, and I think that that's
Jazz.
exactly it. Is that she sort of
Plus, I mean, all this other trauma and shit.
all the
Oh,
other
yeah.
trauma. But
Oh, yeah,
and
that makes
and
sense.
that's exactly sort of where I'm going with this. Where I don't know exactly how I feel about it, but I think I am going to go this way. Is that that is why she marries. Like, she marries someone who's not right for her. That like she turns to for this like support or whatever that she isn't able to give herself. And that's sort of her really shitty Savage ending, is that she just gets into something that it's totally just destroys her soul.
There's like a few quick cuts.
Yeah.
Like, we don't,
Yeah.
it's not like fully clear,
Yeah.
at least from Zachariah's perspective. He drove his meat hooks into Daddy
Nice.
at one point, and they struggled off into the woods.
Yep.
And I'm sure Daisy and Jazz got some hits in there too. Like, it was like a team effort.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
He kind of disappears off in the woods with Daddy.
Yep.
And you guys
Don't
head
know.
back that
Yeah,
way.
we don't know what happens.
So you kind of have these glimpses, and all that's left of Zachariah is this, like, the epic legend of the hook hand man and the hook hand killer.
Yeah.
And so the entire, like, the police investigation, like, who knows what the official story is? Who cares? The camp story is what lives.
Yeah.
And the whole, like, around the area, the hook hand killer, and there's like tell of a hook hand man living in the woods.
He'll
who
take
will
your hands.
He'll take your
Take
you
your
know,
hand.
Take your
and
hands.
so when like food goes missing, they blame, like, so things just start getting blamed all
Yeah,
the time
on
on
the
the hook
hook hand
hand man.
man.
And he
Aw.
just becomes a, when he's ever spied, it sends children into soiling themselves.
Soiling
It's
themselves.
frightening. The only piece of life left of like who he was is that bag of his accoutrement that he never reclaimed.
Yeah.
And there's like, the torn out photo of his mom and his Bible and
His stash.
His
his
stash. Yeah.
which is like, you actually get to the cutout part of the Bible. He was like flipping to see that's where his stash was.
So Daisy is never okay again. She now that her sister is a total shut-in, she feels like she has to succeed for both of them. And so she goes to college, and she goes to a really good college because she bites and scratches and blackmails her way in there. Everyone is terrified of her. She has no friends. She has a really hard time forming relationships. And every time...
And she self-sabotages.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But every time it seems like something might get serious, she's like, I've killed a person. like every time, like nothing seems important or good. So she becomes a lawyer. No, she becomes a defense attorney
For like corporate.
Yeah, for like big tobacco stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, our story ends. We will return again with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. You can find my media discussion recommendation podcast at newtoyoushow.com, and you can find my book club podcast at woundandstab.com. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me, Ken Breese, all over the interwebs, specifically on Twitter at Burlingsbeard. That is also my website. Check me out. I am a concierge DM in the New York City area. Hire me to run your games. Also, shout me out if you were at PAX Unplugged. I was on a great panel there, and I want to say hi to everyone I met there. So maybe we can connect. All right.
All right. And Kelsey, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Z for Zelma, Zelma being my burlesque name. And I am also running a Kickstarter right now for my next play. It's called Can't You Tell? That's coming out in February. So if you want to support and or purchase advance tickets, that would be awesome.
All right.
Sweet.
Thanks again for coming on. It was really a blast to have you.
Yeah, great to have you. You need
This
to come
was
back
so
on.
much fun.
You need to
Yeah.
come back on.
I would love to come back.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many more games to play.
So many.
All right. So to learn more about the Kickstarter and the players and the engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. You should also go check out our Patreon and see if you'd like to collaborate with us in making the show. We would love your support and love having collaborators. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at Board Ghost World on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Leave reviews and comments on iTunes, your preferred listening portal, and take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying don't agree with me.